Hello and good morning. Happy Monday morning to you. Hope you had a restful, a blessed weekend. Today, I just wanted to take a quick minute of your time. For those of you in the US that are on a holiday celebrating President's Day today, hope you continue that extended weekend. Hope you are taking the time to continue to enjoy this Black History Month and learning more about those that came before us. And, just really excited about this week ahead. I found myself so I'm a brand strategist, a marketer, a speaker, and so many other labels, a podcaster, a content creator, and so much more. But I found myself about 5 years ago asking the question, what's my purpose and where was I going? And I felt this lack of clarity around what I was going to accomplish with my time, my limited time here on God's earth. And so I found myself working in an exercise to really define and give clarity to my next 10 years. And so I ask you the question, have you taken the time to articulate a vision for your life? If you look out 30 years from now and you envision, or 10, 20, 30 years out from now, we're all at different markers along the journey. But if you look out at the quote unquote end of your working years, if you even have that in mind, right? But I want you to envision that for a minute. I want you to place yourself out from now and say, hey, at the end of this all, what would I have wanted to accomplish with my time here? And give yourself time, right? Give yourself a couple of weeks to noodle on that thought if you haven't yet done so. I imagine myself being able to sit on a beach chair somewhere really nice and warm, especially when I'm looking outside this window today at the snow still on the ground. Good morning, Amanda. Blessings to you. But I envision myself looking back and seeing myself having accomplished certain things around my podcast, being able to write several books around all these conversations I've had over several years, being able to speak on much, much larger stages and impacting more people. And as I began to flesh that out, I gave thought to, let's bring that back, right? Let's reverse engineer that. Like, as a marketer, often we look at, okay, we have an event out here, but what needs to happen to get to that point, right? So we reverse engineer the process. And so I'm going to ask you this coming weekend, I am taking my dad on a journey back to Florida. And I'm not just going to jump in the car and drive, right? I'm going to open Google Maps, open Apple Maps. I'm going to chart the course that I'm going to take, right? I'm not going to hop from 85 to 95 and back and make the journey, 10 times as long. I am looking for a direct route. I'm looking for an exact path. And so what I would like for you to do is, in the noise of this pandemic, in the noise of all that's happening around us right now, take the time, take a couple weeks, think of what that destination, that marker is that you're trying to get to. Again, 10, it could even be 3 years out from now, right? I've been reading Vivid Visions. It's a great book. Let's see, by Cameron Herold. I listened to the audiobook and I'm reading the book again. He's focused on 3 years. I often encourage, students that I guide through this process to look at the end goal and then come back to 10 years and anchor their BHAGs, their big, hairy, audacious goals on that 10-year vision. That's an exercise I put myself through back in 2016, and I know certain markers I'm trying to hit by 2026. But I am now beginning to overlay some of Cameron's wisdom on top of that, right? So that there is much more clarity about exactly what I'm doing. So when January rolls around every year and people are doing this New Year's resolution exercise, my exercise is done all year round, every year for the next 10 years. I know exactly what's needing to happen. Last year was probably one of the most difficult years for many of us. My dad suffered a stroke, and it was a challenging year. My wife had things happening, or our entire family was uprooted, right? But as my anchor point, as my North Star, I had this documentation of what I had envisioned myself accomplishing over that 10-year period. Didn't mean those things didn't need to change, but it allowed me to look in the quiet, in that silent season, and say, hey, is this still the goal? Get clear on why this is still the long-term vision for your life. And if it is, what are we doing? Yeah, we're going to be behind on certain things, but how will we ramp back up? And it helps to provide you clarity in that noisy time, in that quiet time. And so I encourage you today to get clear, right? Get clear on where you're going, where you're heading, and how you intend to get there. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can DM me, you can email me, stephen@stephenahart.com, or hop on over to my website at stephenahart.com. Alpha Bootcamp, if that's of value to you, to walk through the process of that. But God bless you. Thanks for hanging with me. Hope you have a blessed week. Go out and make it great. Cheers.